Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Jennifer and today I am playing with some new products from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to do a fun technique on the background that I call twice stamping. Now this card uses this awesome new stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. It's called Oh Ship, and I think it's kind of fun and playful and be perfect for a guy, but actually I think it would work for anybody. It's just kind of fun without being too bad. So here's the stamp set. There's lots of great greetings on here. You can do lots of different little combinations with it. I'm going to use that giant pirate ship on the top and then use the messages that are lined up beneath it. I'm going to keep them right in the order that they're shown on the stamp set, which makes it really easy for me to just kind of figure out how this card's going to come together. So I have some white cardstock and I'm going to stamp this ship with a navy Hero Arts shadow ink. Navy's really hot right now, and I think it's also fun with silver and pool and red. So that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to use the wave stamp from this new Simon Says Stamp nautical border set. I'm going to stamp it once right along the base of the ship. This is using soft pool ink from Hero Arts. And then I want to have some waves look like it's behind the ship, so I'm going to just stamp it off to the side. Since I'm using a light ink, it's okay to kind of stamp over it, and I don't have to take the time to do the masking. So I stamped it off to one side, and I'm going to stamp it off on the other side too. I'm using the Martha Stewart footed stamp press. This is a great tool because you can kind of wiggle where you're going to go before you press down, and you can get great lining up every time. I stamped the O Ship message with royal red ink from Hero Arts, and now I'm going to use the new Hero Arts silver ink to stamp the I forgot your birthday message. I'm just going to practice it here to make sure the ink's good and ready. So this is a pigment ink, so it'll stamp nicely. I just want to be careful not to touch it for a bit. Now for I hope it was awesome. I think that's the greeting. I hope it was awesome. I'm going to stamp with the soft pool ink. This is a little more subtle, and it'll be perfect right below the others. So now that I have all this stamped, I want to cut a little V in the bottom. Here's how I do V's that are large. I'm going to put a point on with a pencil that's halfway across this strip. So I'm just going to line up my pencil here. I've got the 1 on one side and the 3 on the other, and I'll put a mark right at the 2. You could do whatever works best for you to find the midpoint. And then I'll put that up about like 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of my panel. Now I'm just going to cut from one corner to the point and another corner to the point. If you have square dies or square punches, you can also use those at an angle to get a nice V cut. There are also dies that cut large banners this way too. Now I have a navy cardstock here that I've scored and I'm just creasing. Now I noticed that I did something wrong here and I ended up having a fuzzy edge to my scoring. I filled it the wrong direction. If I ever have a fuzzy edge, all I do is I use a fingernail file or emery board or whatever to rub off those extra papers and nobody knows. So you can get rid of the fuzz that way. And that way you can use any cardstock you want for your card base. Now I noticed my little banner was too long, so here's my little trick for making it shorter. I cut in from one side, and then I flip it over and cut the same amount in from the other side so that my banner is a little bit shorter and fits on the card. I didn't really plan that out when I first did it. Now I think this card will look great as is with the plain background, but I decided I wanted to do a twice stamping technique on the background instead. So I'm using the same nautical border stamp set. I'm going to use the little anchors, and I'm going to first go through it and stamp them repeatedly and then clear heat emboss them. So I've got my Versamark, which is just a clear sticky ink. I'm going to stamp this at the bottom of my note card first. And line it up. I have my stamp press again so I can line up easily. You can see me wiggle around before I press. Now instead of going and stamping the next row, I couldn't really see through. So I'm going to go ahead and put my clear embossing powder on. I'm not going to bother heating it because I'd just rather heat it all at once. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my next border right above this. So I'm inking it up with Versamark ink, and then I will stamp down. You can easily line this up. And then I'll add on the clear embossing powder. And then I'll continue to do this until the entire card is covered, and then I'll heat it all at once. So I'll end up with this great tone-on-tone raised image. Now I decided to take this a step further and do twice stamping. This is great with repetitive borders like this one. Dot borders work great for this too. This time I'm using the Hero Arts silver ink, and I'm stamping in between the others. So you can see it's offset a little bit, so I end up with a completely different look with lots more anchors. So you could have stopped at the first ones or just done the silver instead. But I think this twice stamping look is fun for a background on a simple card. So I decided, even though this was a silver ink, I decided I wanted to go ahead and silver heat emboss it. So I'm putting on some silver embossing powder. You could use clear embossing powder with this if you wanted to. And then I will heat set this. And then I'll end up with the two different colors of heat embossing on the background. A nice raised image. It's kind of fun. Next, I wanted to show you how I did this little glitter star on the pirate ship. I'm going to use sparkle tape. This is a new product. This is fabulous because you can just punch it with, I'm using an EK Success border punch here. And then you just peel off the backing and you can stick it right onto your project wherever you want it to be. When you peel off a backing of the whole strip, it's kind of like a washi tape, a glitter washi tape, and it's a glitter that doesn't rub off. It's nice and smooth, and it really is a subtle shimmer. So after I've peeled the backing off, I'm just going to use my craft knife to place it right in place. And there we have the finished card. So I did the twice stamping technique on the background, and then I used the playful images on the banner. If you have any questions, please visit my blog at jennifermcguireink.com. And if you're visiting over on YouTube, you can see the supplies listed below by expanding the view of the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.